This is Middle Class Matt from don'tbuythehype.blogspot.com, and I am the sports genius. On this channel and on my blog, I cover boxing a good bit. And tonight I watched the replay of the Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley fight. I've already done a video on the fight that came after that, the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. versus Andy Lee. And after watching the Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley fight again, I can see how the fight was judged a little bit closer. I think the best way to put it, and I'm almost in total agreement, I really like Max Kellerman and what he talks about and the things he says. I like his perspective. If anybody has any criticism on him, I'm sure there's things he does wrong, but I really like him. And I think he and I are a lot in the same vein where we love the fight game. We just love everything about it. We love all the intricacies and details and the IQ that goes into it. And we really love it. And Jim Lampley showed the fight game. He talked about it afterwards, and that's a great show as well. HBO just does a great job with boxing. But he said that as he looked back with no commentary, he saw the fight could be 7 rounds to Manny Pacquiao, 1 round to Bradley, and 4 maybes, which means you could give those 4 maybes possibly to Bradley and have a 7-5 fight. That would still have Manny coming out as the winner. So the judge that judged at 7-5 Manny, even though I thought that was insane, because I saw the fight being more like 9-3, 10-2. 11-1 was a bit much, but 9-3, 10-2 was a legit scores. 7-5, it makes her look at least not so crazy, because you had 4 maybe rounds. I see it almost completely that way with Kellerman, but I see that really Bradley only won. I can see him, winning maybe 3 rounds. And 2 maybe rounds, which you could have given to him. And then 7 to Manny. So I did give Bradley probably 2 or 3 rounds. I didn't only have him having 1. But with that said, Manny still won the fight and he was robbed of the fight. So that really has stirred up some controversy. People saying this is the worst decision in boxing. The black eye to boxing. It taints and stains the sport. Things like that saying, and that's not good for a sport that has already suffered from such controversy in the past. But 2 things I want to talk about real quickly is how the state board is people are calling for an investigation. I usually hate when the government gets involved in sports. I think they have better things to do, and I think they should be using our tax dollars to, improve the economy, schools, police officers, etc., things like that. But it has to be done that way, this investigation, because I went to a local fight recently and I found out I was not aware of how much the government is involved. I met the boxing commissioner in this area and I saw them in action and realized that I think he's like some sort of police officer. He had a gun, badge, car with lights, and I didn't really know how that works. Still not exactly clear. I'm going to have to investigate, but I've been watching boxing for years on TV, but this is the first time I've been to a small-time fight and was able to see behind the scenes. I actually talked to the referee and judge who ran it, and he knew the judges that scored the Manny fight, or at least knew some of them that scored the Manny Pacquiao-Timothy Bradley fight. And he said that he thought he just had a bad night because those were good judges. I'll have an interview with him coming up where he talks about that. So it's really interesting. And definitely look for those videos coming up from that local fight. I've got knockouts, fight footage, interviews, and like I said, I'll be interviewing the referee and judge was at this local fight who knew the judges of the Manny Pacquiao. So that's breaking news. You have to check that out. You won't be able to find that too many places. And I'm the only one that has that interview on the web. So, but they'll definitely have to, the state will have to investigate. So as much as I don't like government's involvement, that has to be the way it's done. And then, like the referee said, so it raises so many conspiracy theories of why this would happen or how this can happen. It still sort of baffles everybody. And then all the conspiracy theories about money and gambling and the judges have all started rising still and nobody's putting the fire out. Even the guys at HBO aren't. They're saying, yeah, the only explanation is that because Manny was the champion. He had the crowd behind him. He seemed to win the most rounds. And if there was some maybe rounds, it was like you usually give those to the champion or the fan favorite. He's pretty much the hometown guy in Vegas. So that's really interesting to see that. Be sure to check out the videos. I documented this local fight. It was great. I was behind the scenes. I also was a trainer and subbed in for a fighter, a journeyman named Franklin Armstrong Jr., who fought a real tough journeyman type fight, and he's nearly 40 years old. I'll have the footage of that too. So check this footage out. You won't be able to find it anywhere else. I'll have also written blog entries on don'tbuythehype.blogspot.com. So check out this channel and check that out in the future. Keep your eye on. So subscribe and check that out, boxing fans, because you'll see some great knockouts and footage of stuff you won't find anywhere else. And this is Middle Class Matt from don'tbuythehype.blogspot. I'll check you next time.